This is Talking Business.
My next guest is Margot Andersen, the CEO and founder of Insync Network Group and owner and managing director of Talent Insight. So 2 businesses, Margot.
2 businesses, Alan.
And so I think Talent Insight came first, then Insync. Tell us what they do and
absolutely.
What the journey took you on.
Talent Insight is a career management and leadership consultancy. So I work with both individuals and organisations who are navigating transition and sort of high periods of change and growth, be that from internally inside an organisation or externally when people might come out of an organisation and they're in a period of transition. Insync Network Group is a relatively new business and community, and that was really founded, I guess, off my personal journey of having lived and worked abroad overseas and returning to Australia and having to navigate that, that transition, A, as a person holistically, but B, also from a career perspective, because I think, like many, it's something that's really underestimated, that return journey.
Right. So let's just focus on Talent Insight. So what was your background before that? You started that business. Were you in the HR business?
Yeah, well, actually, I actually originally commenced my career as a teacher, and then went to London for what I thought would be 9 months, 10 months, the good old Aussie, rite of passage, and was one of those Aussies that accidentally stayed for 7 years and completely changed careers whilst I was there. So I moved into the world of talent management, recruitment, and a lot of that sort of onboarding, training, learning, development sort of component there. But I worked externally, and so I was in a consulting business and I was the operations director there. So it was really around growing out all of the different streams, making sure that they were commercially viable, and then, scaling that business. So
didn't fully understand what you meant when you talked about transition. So do you help individuals get promoted?
Yeah, absolutely. So navigating transition from internally inside an organisation, so how they grow through an organisation. And, traditionally it used to be a very linear path. You'd hit one sort of milestone and then you'd progress to the next and you'd go into management, etc. With the changing way of work today, we see people wanting to move in sort of all kind of directions from within an organisation and gain exposure to different things. So it's very much how do we help people grow within an organisation, both from a career perspective, but also move within it rather than thinking after 3 years, okay, my time's done, I have to go and have a look somewhere else.
So do you get paid by individuals or by companies?
By both. So 80%.
Some individuals pay.
Yeah, absolutely.
To manage a career path for them.
Yeah, it's an executive coaching engagement.
Right.
And so, yeah, absolutely, individuals come to me. 80% of my work in that business, though, is definitely with organisations and paid for by the organisation.
And what are they paying for exactly?
So it can be everything from advisory work, so looking at have we got the right people in the right place at the right time, so a workforce planning lens, if you like. It can be around training. I tend to don my teacher's hat and come back in and look at Management 101 training and leadership training programs there. And then also, as I said before, executive coaching. But interestingly, if we think about the Insync network, what we've really found there that's been an emerging need has been the career management piece. So individuals who are navigating the return back to Australia and looking to re-enter the market, it's a very challenging sort of journey that most of us underestimate, or many of us have underestimated. We've been out of sight, out of mind, I think, for many people for some time, and coming back to what is often a highly networked market and wanting to re-engage and get going again can be trickier than anticipated.
Yeah, right. So is the Insync business growing more quickly than Talent Insight?
Yeah, it's really interesting actually, because I probably started Insync very much as a passion piece. It was something that was very personal to me in the sense that I had completely underestimated the journey. And when I spoke about it to others, they were like, oh yeah, it's a tricky time. And the more and more work that I did around career management, the more and more inquiries I started to have from both organisations and individuals around either the resettling phase or the re-entering phase that was there. So Insync is a community of globally experienced individuals and professionals who've lived and worked abroad. And they have returned and found that transition trickier, from a number of levels. And that could be both personally, so the well-being side of things. It's, how do I fit in here again, or where do I fit? It can be from a professional side of things. So, as I said before, re-entering the workforce or entering the workforce or the work market at the right level, because that can be tricky trying to articulate and localise your offshore experience with real relevance here in Australia. So,
what specifically do you do for them? Do you set them up with networking among themselves? I guess you have events and stuff, do you? But
we do.
Do you do other specific services?
Yeah. So we have events which really are designed to connect people and bring people together, not just so that they can wallow in a story of pain, but actually to share connections and to share ideas and to share knowledge around how people have successfully navigated that transition. But we've got career management programs and programs that also help people resettle. The programs are really structured around, I suppose, 3 core areas or 6 subzones of what I call repatriation. And there's very much the logistics. Firstly, we've got to get ourselves home, the kids home, the dog home. We've got to get money moved. We might have to sell properties or organise pensions from abroad. That's not my skill set. But what I have got is a strategic alignments and partners with firms and with individuals that can help the members with those components of transition. Then we've got the professional side, which is the career and the business side. If you've been out of the country and there's been, royal commissions or mergers and acquisitions or spill and fills inside organisations, you have to learn how and where to navigate those changes with confidence and competence or relevance. But then there's the wellbeing side, the social and emotional side. So Insync is really set up to support that transition holistically. And for some people, they need, specific help in those areas. And so we either deliver those programs or we recommend partners that can help with those elements of transition.
Right. And what do you charge for that?
Well, it's how long is a piece of string, because it's a bit like what we're about to do is to launch our membership programs. We've got 3 tiers to that, and the way we've designed it is it's a little bit like a pick and mix. So we know that fundamentally people want to meet and connect with others, but some people might need help around, okay, I'd really love a CV written, or I'd really love a CV check. Others are very much like, I've got my networks, I've actually landed inside an organisation, but I'm having difficulty navigating that, so they'll pick a component for that. For other people, it might be interview skills or positioning help that they might need. So we've developed bundles that will allow people to buy into that.
Right.
So there's recommended 3 tiers, if you like, but, we can customise that to individuals. We've got people who've travelled with partners who've been in countries that they've never been allowed to work in because of the visa arrangements. They have to get their whole career going again. We've got some who are like, we're great. We're great. The kids are struggling. So we need to introduce them to people who can help, support that. So there is a fee for service, if you like, around those different levels and tiers of membership.
What is it? Can you tell us?
So we've got 3, Connect, Transition and Transform. Connect is really the early entry bundles, and I think that sits around $1,800, and it goes right up through to probably somewhere around the $20,000 mark if you're looking to do a full transition. And what that looks like then is, full transition, often starting prior to departing. We've got communities in, Singapore, Hong Kong, London who are saying, Margot, I've been gone for 18 years. I have no idea where to start.
Yeah.
So we do a full audit. That obviously includes absolutely everything. It's personalised introductions to organisations, introductions to recruiters, introductions to finance experts that are expat experts in that area. So it's really around what does that individual need. We start with an audit and we work out and make recommendations from that.
Just back to Talent Insider for a minute. You said something quite interesting before. You said that the career path these days is not as linear as it used to be. Explain what you mean by that. How have things changed, do do you think?
Yeah, I look in a number of ways. I think, firstly, the pace of change and the way in which we do business is changing so quickly. And so we need a nimbleness and adaptability to be able to move and see those opportunities as they emerge and go with them. And, I've worked with people who've come through, be it a specific marketing or sales stream, and they've sort of come in as a consultant and then they've gone to a manager and then a director and then, through to leading the division, if you like, or the function. And that is a very traditional path, and it is for some the desired path still today. But for others, they might want to work on new emerging technologies, or they might want to work on an innovation project, or there's a merger and an acquisition that happens within a business and there's an opportunity to go and translate and educate another part of the business. So how do we move cross-functionally around a business, tapping into our own core skill set? And I think that often what's happened in the past is we've gone, okay, this is the path that the company lays out for me. And I think that there's a danger when we just simply hitch our wagon to a brand or a company, because we kind of give out the control of our career to the organisation then.
So do you mean that people are taking more control themselves of their career?
And I'm a great believer that, the organisation owns the role, you own your career. And it has to be a partnership for that to work well. So there has to be open and honest conversations that can happen if that marriage is to work, so to speak. But often what happens is change comes to organisations and there's restructures, and then people are asked what they want and they don't know. Or they're fearful because they think, I just need a job to pay the mortgage. And so the drivers are not actually clearly articulated or recognised. And we can all too easily then see things unfold, and we then see Bill get the job or Jan get the job, and we think, I wanted that. I didn't know how to articulate that or to move with that. So I think it's about helping people to step into that path confidently and have some clarity, articulate it and move with confidence. So
Interesting. It's been great talking to you, Margot. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.
I've been talking to Margot Andersen, who's the CEO and founder of Insync Network Group, which is for expats coming back to Australia, and also owner and managing director of Talent Insight.